Yeah, man. And the thing a lot of people miss too, especially people who are hesitant to get started, is you don't have to be perfect. Have a conversation. As long as you're getting the general point across and you are tying it down with a question, you
Yeah.
will get the responses from the other party that you're looking for.
You know what? We're not going to list. Bring us a buyer. Hey, I'm only going to work with somebody who brings me a buyer. I'm sure you guys have been hearing that a lot. You've heard it for years. It's never changed. Today, we're going to deep dive, myself and Alden, on some very killer lines and some theory behind it too, because we like to take it to the next level about what's most effective when it comes to these situations. So Alden, welcome back to the show. Let's get right back into it, bro. Is this something you're hearing a lot still or not?
Yeah, I hear bring me a buyer fairly regularly. This is one that most sellers, especially when they had a bad experience on the market, they don't want to go back on the market because in their mind, a lot of sellers believe that all real estate agents are the same. And so they got one bad experience and they think they're going to get multiple bad experiences no matter who they use. So it's a common one. Again, another one that's really not too difficult to overcome. It's more of a smoke screen from these people.
Yeah, so I mean, I can go first this time because I know we kind of ping pong back and forth. So when I hear that, there's a lot of ways you can go about it, guys. Let's say I hear, "Hey, Bryan, bring me a buyer." I say, "Okay, what type of buyer are you looking for? I got tons." Now, a lot of times when I say that, half the time they're kind of like backpedaling, like because they're not used to hearing that. They're used to agents going into explain mode, right? Well, we want a good buyer, like a legitimate buyer, someone who's going to close. Great. I can get you an offer in 24 hours. Is that something you're looking for? Oh, really? Or you can? It's like, yeah, it's probably not going to be the highest and best price, but we know that typically you're either going to get speed or you're going to do it right and get the most money. Which one is kind of what you're looking for? You're looking to just dump this thing or get, a quick offer, maybe cash, or you're looking to really get the most amount of money for it. And now I'm already back in control of the conversation. Okay, great. So you're looking for that type of buyer. What do you have in place right now? Let's say it's a FSBO, it's a for sale by owner, to really verify these buyers and make sure that they're legit and they can pay you the most and that they're ready, willing, and able, RWA type of buyer. Now I'm the one asking the questions, right? That's just a quick little rundown of some stuff that I say, Alden. I know you really crush it with expired listings. So if an expired tells you that compared to like a FSBO and they say, well, we went the listing route, it didn't work, Alden, just bring us a buyer if you have them, but we're not going to list. What would you say?
So I'll use the same response with expired listings and for sale by owners. Because a lot of times you'll get that much more often from the FSBO, but you'll get it from expireds too. And I don't even really play into the frame because at the end of the day, I really don't.
Real quick. When you say frame, because most people don't know what that means. Yeah. What do you mean when you say frame?
So when a seller tells you to bring them a buyer, if you start engaging in that conversation, you're playing into their frame of reference.
Yep.
You're trapped in a box where now you've got to justify bringing a buyer. Now, I guess you could say reframe it and say, So I can appreciate you bringing that up, Mr. Seller, but I'm actually a listing specialist, meaning what I do for my clients when they hire me is to go out and actually find that buyer that's going to pay them the most money. And I do that in many ways, and which it sounds to me like is exactly what you're looking for, correct?
And let's say you said that and they say, well, then you must have buyers. Why don't you just bring us the buyer? Why do we have to list? If they say that, because I know that's going to be a question in the comments,
sure,
even though most of people wouldn't say that. But let's say in the event that they do, what's kind of like your follow-up line to that?
Yeah, I would say, and I do come across a number of buyers. However, they're not particularly buyers that are probably looking specifically for your house in your area. But what I do when I'm tasked by the clients that hire me, because I spend most of my focus with them, is to actually find that buyer that's going to pay them the most money for the seller home. To your point, I say, I can bring you a buyer, but are you looking for the buyer that's going to pay you the most money, or are you looking for just any buyer?
Oh no, we want the most. We want the most, Alden, because we need to cash out to move to Florida.
Absolutely, and that's what I've done for 12 families already this year in your same exact situation. If I could do it for them, is it safe to say I could do it for you too?
Perfect, right? And that's a factual, emotionally impactful statement rooted in fact, because you've held 12 expired listings so far this year. There you go, right? So a lot of that has to do with the delivery and the confidence in what you say. And if you say that to 10 people, how many give you a positive response to that?
I would say majority of them by far. Now, again, motivation is going to be an important factor. After I say that, I'll usually go back to the motivation. And by the way, like suppose you had gotten an offer. It depends on if it's a FSBO or expired. suppose you were to get an offer, today, I mean, where were you guys headed?
So effectively, when you do that, what I call a transitionary statement, you reframed it, right? And now with that transitionary statement, you're effectively relinquishing control from them back to yourself. And now you're going to guide the conversation by you asking the questions, right?
Absolutely. It's so important to keep control. And you always have to either end your statement. This is something I see a lot of agents miss. You have to end your statements with a tie down or another question at the end, because the person that's in control, the person that asked the questions is in control of the conversation. Sounds good in theory, but a lot of people miss it, and it has to be done. Otherwise, you'll get run off many phone calls.
Well, in theory, right? We can go to my old videos, Jordan Belfort's videos. Everyone in the comment section is a master, but when it comes to the actual practitioner aspect of it and doing it, they can't do it, right?
100%, man.
And what you mentioned, end it with the tie down or question. I mean, that's from the vault, right? Like close the deal, lecture number 2 or 3, sales 101 that we teach. And Alden obviously is a student of the program and is crushing it. That's why he's working with me now at Team BC University. It's these basic things hammered until you really have them. Because when you can do that, conversation just flows seamlessly, right?
Yeah, man. And the thing a lot of people miss too, especially people who are hesitant to get started, is you don't have to be perfect. You just have a conversation. As long as you're getting the general point across and you are tying it down with a question, you will get the responses from the other party that you're looking for.
I love it, man. Any other cherry on top, or are we on to the next?
I mean, bringing a buyer, it's a smokescreen. So don't even really you can literally just answer it with a basic question and move on. And I always try to move to either, if it's an expired listing, maybe why they didn't sell the property, or if it's a for sale by owner, maybe where they're going and why they want to go there.
Yeah, and I want to wrap up with this statement, and we'll expand upon it on the next couple episodes. Communication has its own set of rules and guidelines. Would you agree?
100%.
Yeah, and this is why it operates outside of that logical kind of stone wall structure that people try to approach it with, is they don't understand this side of the fence and these rules, and they want to try to apply the world's rules to this when they don't coincide necessarily, right?
Yeah, and even to your point, when we talk about keeping control of the conversation, if you allow the other person to ask questions and allow them to run the conversation, the outcome is not going to be, not 99 times out of 100 is going to be bad for them and also bad for you, because these people don't know what it takes to sell a property. They've never done it before, or there's that same decision-making process that they used if they're an expired previously got them a failed result. So they need somebody that's a professional to come in and help them make better decisions. So it's so important to keep control of the conversation. I would almost argue it's one of the most important parts in the entire, cold call.
Love it, bro. If you guys want to utilize any of the resources we have, strategy call, talk about our brokerage, real brokerage, you want to check out the coaching and courses, things that we have to offer, everything will be in the description. All right, we're on to the next one. See you guys.